turn that off. So I know my other light is going to go out on me because that phone is a little low, because that's what I use for my lights, is that. So, yeah. Well, hello, everybody. How are y'all doing today? Ah, yes, we got light on the situation. Okay, so I wanted to, yesterday we got cut off, and, so it just kind of cut us off, and we didn't get to finish. And that has never happened like that. And even for the guests, I mean, I saw the video that she was still there. And so she's going to come and join us back here, and we're going to finish up with that. But welcome. Just want to welcome you. I need to properly welcome you to Sarah Nutritional Therapy live stream. I am Teresa T.L. Matthew. I'm the founder and maker of Some Sweet. That is the most spectacular sweetener on the market. Yes, I like to say that it is, because it helped me to kick my sugar addiction. Also, I am the founder of Sarah Nutritional Therapy. That stands for Sugar Addiction is Real Nutritional Therapy. Yes. So, what we're going to do is we're going to finish up what we started yesterday, and then I'm going to continue on with, we're going to be chatting about we're gonna chat about the subject matter for today. Now, I actually need to get her. I thought she was in the back room. I don't think she got my link, so I'm not sure. Don't want to have stuff go haywire today like it did yesterday. So, and I don't know what happened, but we're going to get her back into the back room. We're going to finish up that conversation, and then we're going to continue on with the subject matter for today. So this is going to be probably some kind of weird sound the way this call is going to be set up, but we'll try and continue on if I can get her. I do believe she sent me a message, so let me try and get out there to get with her, to get the message. So I do want to admonish everyone that if you don't know what your risk is for type 2 diabetes, you can go over to the American Diabetes Association, and you can take the assessment over there and find out what your risk is. So I'm trying to do this on the computer, and it just doesn't want to work. But I do have I've set a backup for myself, and so that if that should ever happen again, I won't be totally like thrown off like I was yesterday. So we'll do it will it will be better. I shouldn't be totally thrown off like yesterday. So let me see here. And just so y'all know, I'm still here. I didn't realize that happened. So give me just a moment. Okay. I hear her typing, and I'm sorry, I accidentally hit the button on the camera, turn the camera off. Sorry. So she will be joining us shortly. So let me continue on, remind you all to drink your water. 444, you need 4 of these a day, right? So yeah, so you need 4 of those per day. So, but anyway, so I had great conversations today. Yes, I'm so excited about about some new projects that I got going on, some projects that are in the works. So I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to share it with you all. So, yeah. So, yeah, she's still invited. So, we'll see when she comes on. So, I definitely want to continue on with what we start what was started yesterday, because I was so interested in our guest. Our guest, by the way, is Sharon Naimi, and she's talking with us about I'm gonna have a hard time saying Ar- Ayurvedic Ayurveda. She was talking to us about that, and we were at the point where we were discussing um, how that plays with Western medicine, when the whole thing just kind of went kaplooey, and it was a total mess. So, and I'm trying to actually get the Facebook back. So um, I'm not sure what it was that froze up the thing yesterday, but yeah. So I wanted to start with her, and then we'll finish up with with the rest of what our subject matter was. Is this if this whole thing just connects? It might connect, it might not connect. So we'll see. We shall see. So while we're waiting on our guest to join us, go ahead and put in the chat box. Let me know where it is that you're coming from. Share with me, where you're coming from, where you're watching this at. And by the way, I just want to remind you that you can catch this. We are live streaming to Facebook at SAIRNT, also to YouTube at SAIRNT, as well as Instagram at Some Sweet Foods, Twitter at Some Sweet Foods, and here again on the HAPS app. And again, I get really, these days I'm getting really nervous because it just kind of looks like the screen may be freezing. Okay, so I thought it was a good idea that we would have the guest on and we would finish up with what we started. But maybe she's having technical difficulties, because she did mention that yesterday. I know that she was still there, but I'm just not real sure. So we will see what happens. There she is. So our Sharon Naimi is going to join us now. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
All right, so we're back.
Yes,
Yes.
here we are.
Yesterday was just like a total really weird kind of thing that it happened like that. I was like, wow, that was really bad. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens when you're live. So we just want to finish up with our conversation that we were having yesterday. We're going to have you remind everyone where they can find you, and because this is just gonna, I'm gonna tag this onto the yesterday's video. But for those who are just tuning in today, or would catch this because it's live, it's just to remind everyone about you and your practice, and where we can find you and what you do.
Yeah, yeah, thanks, Teresa. So Sharon Nemi, and you can find me on yourwaywellness.com, and I am an Ayurveda wellness expert and just help people to get healthy and faster and forever after using Ayurveda and natural methods. So yourwaywellness.com, or excuse me, my email is Sharon at yourwaywellness.com. You can get in touch with me there as well.
And you mentioned yesterday that you have a Facebook group.
I do. It's called Ageless Living with Ayurveda. And I have a lot of my learning workshops that I do. I post them there for access for the members who join, as
Fantastic,
well as a lot
fantastic.
of other stuff, Ayurveda stuff.
Okay. And so I think where we got cut off yesterday, where we were talking about, and I did listen to the end of the video where the question I had asked was, how does Ay- Ayurveda work with, because it's Eastern medicine, work with Western medicine?
Right. So Ayurveda is holistic and it's universal. So its application is broad and can integrate into any practice that you have, whether Western medicine or you do any other natural therapies, Chinese acupuncture, anything. Again, it's an
Hmm.
integrative approach that works the best.
Okay. So an integrated approach works best. And just one, I think one final question that I have is that, is this, because I know somebody's going to ask, is this a religious based type of thing, or it's just medicine?
It is, and I'm going to say both, because it is born out of the Sankhya philosophy, which is the premise behind the ether, air, fire, water, and earth. But as a practitioner and any expert that you work with should not push any of that philosophy on the client unless they want to know about it and so forth. But it really is all about self-realization, self-awareness, and finding the divine within, because that's, we all are divine. And if God's going to hide themselves somewhere, why not hide him within us? Because that's the least place that's anybody's going to look for him or her, however you look at it. But anyway, that it is religious. It's a philosophy-based um, system, holistic, of health and healing.
Okay. But it's just not central, but it doesn't, nobody emphasizes. We're talking medicine.
Yeah, we talk medicine, we talk health, we talk, although part
Hmm.
of our recognition of being healthy is being connected to a higher purpose and
Okay.
knowing what you want to do in your life and how you connect to that divine, whether you call him Allah, Buddha, Jesus Christ, it makes no difference. It's, do you have that communication and connection with
Okay.
divine? And do you know your purpose in this life, and are you striving to get there? That's what's
All right.
important.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Sharon, I appreciate you for coming back for just these brief few minutes just to
Sure.
share, so we can wrap that up and put the bumper on the back of the video that we have from yesterday and the audio, so the podcast will be absolutely complete and not just messed up how it happened yesterday. So I just thank you so much. So again, everyone, please go and visit Sharon's website and her Facebook group. Will you give those to us again, please?
Yourwaywellness.com, that's the website. And the Facebook group is Ageless Living with Ayurveda, Ayurveda.
All right, Ageless Living with Ayurveda. So, everyone, please go check her out. And I am so grateful to you for coming back for just these brief few minutes so we can just wrap that whole thing up, end it properly.
End it properly, and I thank you very much. It was really a pleasure to join you.
Thank you. I appreciate
All
you.
right.
You have
Yeah.
a great rest of your day. All right.
You as well, everyone. Thanks. Thanks, Miss
Thank you.
Teresa.
Uh huh. All right, everyone. So you see, that wasn't too bad, right? Because listen, I go live and I actually, that was the best time for us to come back together was today, which was, at her request, because she had a client after the show ended yesterday. So there was a client that she had waiting. So that was the best way for us to end that and for me to wrap that up to be able to. Now I have to do some video editing. You guys know I don't like to do that, right? So now I have to do some editing for the podcast to put that together so that it will go out completely. And this one is going to be complete, but it's going to be a different way because I'm going to all of that out. So when you listen to the podcast, you're going to be expecting to hear that and it won't be there. So anyway, so on to today's topic. right? On to the day's topic. So just want to let you know that there's a recall going on some of you guys' favorite soda. So it's an urgent Coca-Cola recall. And while I'm waiting for that to pop up, so I just want to give you that information there. There's an urgent Coca-Cola recall. So um, it's not just Coca-Cola. So it says if you have any of these sodas or juices, throw them out. So I want to make you aware of that. So following the Kool-Aid, let's see, it looks like there was a Kool-Aid recall and the more extensive Kraft Heinz drink recall from recent weeks. We have a few new recalls involving soda and juices. So this time around, they're looking at two separate Coca-Cola recall announcements impacting products like Minute Maid, Sprite, and Coca-Cola. Lots of these sodas and drinks and juices may contain foreign substances like metal. You should stop drinking any of the Coke, Minute Maid, and Sprite products in the recalls and throw away the potentially contaminated products. You know what I say about that? Take them back to the store. Or you can actually probably call Coca-Cola, get coupons, and you can just trash them. They'll give you coupons. They should give you coupons for free product because these are based on the recall. So Kraft Heinz announced a few days ago that it found traces of glass or metal in various brands of popular beverage, and the company advised Country Time, Lemonade, Tang, Arizona Tea, and Kool-Aid buyers to ensure the supply that they own wasn't a part of the recall. So you might want to check with them to see what items were recalled. And now Coca-Cola has two separate recall actions again concerning different batches of drinks, but both of them involve potential contamination with foreign substances. So if you hadn't heard that, this is the time when I'm telling you. The Minute Maid recall involves products that might contain metal. So again, Coca-Cola issued that, and so there are some numbers here. The date codes for Berry Punch is January. I don't know. This is Jan 0422 NP, Jan 0522 NP, and there's batch numbers there. And then there's Strawberry Lemonade, Jan 0322, and that's the date code. So, and then Fruit Punch date code is Jan 0522. And then so there are also batch numbers, but again, if you have those products, you might want to check. Go to the Coca-Cola website, Sprite website, or the brand website, and go and check on that because there are recalls. So again, there have been several other recalls that I have made you aware of in these last few weeks, and so again, you wanna go check that out. Also, the Sprite, the Sprite recall. Sprite is a part of that. So Coca-Cola and Sprite products are 12-ounce cans. The date code is August 15th, 22. And Coca-Cola 12-ounce cans, date code August 15, 22. They shouldn't think I repeat that. Oh, it's got WMB and then WMC, and then Sprite 12-ounce cans, date code August 15, 22 WMB. So again, visit the website, their websites, and find out what the recalls are. Call them, get your free coupons in the mail. I'm putting you up on some game now. Don't just throw that stuff away. You spent your money for it. Call them, get your coupons to replace what you are throwing away. So if you got it and you have that, you can call them and get the coupons, or return that stuff to the store, get your money back, so on and so forth. I know some people might just trash it. Hey, that's you. Good for you. If you tight on funds and you bought it and hey, it may be bad and you need to get a coupon, call them or go back to the store. All right. Okay. So with that out of the way, today's topic, and I should not be before you very long here. We're going to maybe I don't want to go through this really quickly. That's what I had for today, but I don't think I want to go through that really quickly. So let me bear with me just a moment. Let me close that. All right, get rid of that. So some things, I really like to take my time with some of the subjects, and some things I talk to you about, and other things I'm just like, oh, it could be like really, really, it's not as, it's not as deep. But what we're going to talk about today were sources for fiber. And I think we've talked about fiber a little bit in the past, and probably because I know because we need it. I think we just had that conversation the other day about the best sources for fiber, and so yeah, so we had that conversation the other day about fiber. But fiber helps to scrub your insides, and that's one of the things that we really, really need to do. Because did you know that you have fat on the inside, right? Not just fat under the skin, but fat. Okay, I'm trying to get this to open. I'm going to open this in this window. So we did the recalls. So I'm closing up some tabs here. So, but fiber helps to scrub your intestines and help you to, stay full, and things like that. And there are ways, and so fiber is really, really important to helping you, with your digestion and all of that. Because, what I want to talk to you about today is the fat that we have on the inside. Because we've covered fiber, and now I want to talk to you about fat. And I'm not talking about, I'm like pinching like the inch, like as if you could see me pinch. Can you see me pinch? Because no, it's all up here. You can't see me pinch the inch. Okay, so you have fat, not you have fat on your belly, but you have fat that is underneath the skin, and the fat that you can't see. And we had a guest that talked about being skinny fat, right? That she was fat because she had fat over her organs, fat over her livers. So that kind of fat is called visceral fat. So when we're talking about we're using, like you're using, you're digesting fiber to make you stay full, to help scrub your insides, that kind of helps to take care of some of the bloat that you may have, get rid of some stuff like that. But there's a layer of fat that we cannot see, right? It's called visceral fat. It's embedded, it's deep, right? It's deep in your belly, and it wraps around your organs like the liver and the intestines. Okay, hold on. And it's dangerous because visceral fat causes significant health issues, and it's been linked to heart attacks and heart disease, type 2 diabetes, which we always talk about here, stroke, breast cancer, colorectal cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. And the best way to tell if you have visceral fat is to measure your waist. So the waist circumference is a good indicator of how much fat is deep inside the belly around the organs. For women, your risk of chronic disease is increased if the waist circumference is 80 centimeters or more. And for men, it's 94 centimeters or more. So what you want to do is you want to get your tape measure, the fabric tape measure or the plastic kind that's really, the soft kind that you can actually wrap around you, and you want to measure. And 80 centimeters, let's see what 80 centimeters is. 80 centimeters inches. So let's see. 80 centimeters is 31 inches. So it's about 31 and a half inches, right? And 94 centimeters is 37 inches on the nose. 37 inches. So if that is your waist, you are at risk. So that's how you know if you have visceral fat. And that is fat that is covering your organs. So what you want to do is you want to start to eliminate that visceral fat You want to start to get rid of it. So let's talk about it. So ways that you can get rid of it is you want to consume, or way that you get it. Sorry, the ways that you get it is by consuming more calories than you're burning. So that's the reason why I said that's the reason why I brought up fiber, because it helps scrub your insides, it helps you stay full and things like that. So you want to reduce calories, even if it's just a little. Visceral fat is the first thing to go, when people cut their food intake. Even a modest calorie reduction will burn off visceral fat. So the more you lose, the more your body will dip into your subcutaneous fat. So this is the fat that's just under the skin that people often want to lose because they can see it, but which is less harmful to your health. And so multiple research studies have demonstrated that visceral fat gets used first, which may be why health measures improve so quickly, even with just a little weight loss from calorie restriction. And you know how we get discouraged, right? When you're working out or you're eating right and you still can pinch, that inch, or you still can pinch those inches, whatever it is. But that fat loss is that we want from the outside and we're not quite getting it. Or this is why you have to check with the tape measure and see that you're losing inches. You want to see how your clothes fit, things like that, because you will lose that fat first, that fat that you keep. So you can't get discouraged because good things are still going on if you're making those changes. Another reason is that you may not be getting enough cardio. So although all exercises can burn off the dangerous visceral fat, cardio trumps weight training. So that's what they say, to burn off the visceral fat, right? So many different research studies on how different exercise regimes without dieting influence visceral fat. After analyzing 87 articles totaling 852 subjects, the review found that moderate to intense aerobic exercise effectively reduced visceral fat in both women and men, and continued to do so even after 12 weeks. So cardio also preferentially burns off liver fat and total abdominal fat. So you do want to get some cardio in. However, a study comparing exercise only to exercise combined with reducing calories or reducing calories alone showed that exercise without any calorie reduction was much less effective at reducing visceral fat. So for best results, combine your cardio with portion control. Okay, so a little bit of exercise. You want to do the exercise, some cardio, and you want to do strength training. And if you're older, like me, and if you're over 40, you really want to do some strength training. You want to cut back on the cardio and do some strength training. But cardio is walking, swimming, jogging, even the rowing machine. I actually I favor the rowing machine. It works like 85% of your body. So it's a great strength training as well, the rowing machine, as well as a cardiovascular workout. So you get a twofer with that. I know some people like the stepping, the stepper, or the elliptical, because you're getting that's pretty much cardio. But um, if you do the rowing machine, I like the rowing because it's strength training as well, because you're actually you're using your body weight to propel that, and so push yourself back, pull yourself forward, all that. So I mean, it's got the little rowing action thing on there, but it's a great way. But so anyway, if you're not getting enough cardio, you won't get that burn in your belly fat, in your visceral fat. So add some cardio to your workout routine, and do some portion control. And by the way, if anybody knows a fitness specialist, we'd love to have them come on and talk with us about fitness. We're getting a lot of health specialists and people that are into the realm of health, nutrition, diet, weight loss, things like that. But we haven't had any fitness specialists. So anybody out there, anybody that's in the fitness, send them my way. We'd love to have a conversation with them here. All right, so the third thing you might be doing is eating processed foods. So avoid processed foods that contains trans fat, from pumping hydrogen to vegetable oils, and that's what gives them their longer shelf life. So they are bad for your health and carry more visceral fat. So you want to avoid the trans fats, and we have talked about here the good fats that we can eat, that we can consume. The good fats would be like your omega-3 foods with omega-3 fatty acids, avocados, salmon, and walnuts, filled with and olive oil. So you get your good omega-3s from there and leave the other stuff alone. I think we talked about that. Maybe we talked about the good oils that you could have. I don't think I mentioned the bad oils at that point, but you would want to stay away from those because those are with omega-6 fatty acids, and those can be inflammatory. So there are other oils so you would just want to stick with those things that give you the good omega-3s. So the fourth thing would be alcohol. Go easy on the alcohol. So according to a study on both men and women in Spain who drank alcohol, more than 3 drinks per day was significantly associated with greater abdominal obesity, which is a good measure of visceral fat. Other studies have shown the same result. More drinks per day are positively associated with abdominal obesity. Even moderate drinking can cause the body to store fat preferentially. And where is it going to store it at? In the belly, in your abdomen. So even an older study of 87 healthy women who were light to moderate drinkers showed that women who drank more had a significantly greater waist circumference. So that's really indicating that you're getting that visceral fat. So you want to stay away from that, because women who drank less, which research concluded was due to the researchers concluded that was due to enlarged visceral fat area. That's why those women had the bigger waist circumference, and these women also showed higher testosterone levels, which could influence where fat is deposited. So, that's interesting. That's really interesting. So the higher testosterone levels influenced where the fat is deposited. It makes sense. It really makes sense, because we normally see men get those really, really large abdomens, large bellies, and so if you're a woman and you're having that, you might want to get your hormones checked, because we do know that that having that large belly can come from some hormonal imbalances, but I didn't really realize that the testosterone levels were so high. So if you have that problem, you might want to get that checked out. The next thing, this one I thought was really interesting to me, because I've told you before that I've done a lot of intermittent fasting, but I wasn't doing it as intermittent fasting. I was doing it as religious fasting, but it's pretty much intermittent fasting. So, intermittent fasting can be helpful, can be a helpful weight loss strategy for many people. But a 2021 study out of Australia showed that fasting can put your body into what is called preservation mode, storing visceral fat around the stomach and triggering a biochemical process that resists burning visceral fat specifically. However, note that this study was in mice, and tested. Let me see. The mice were tested every other day. Let me see. Tested every other day fasting. Yeah, so they were fasting every other day. So fasting for 12 to 14 hours, even 16 hours a day, or skipping a single meal may not have the same effect. So, so they were fasting every other day. So it's every 24 hours, it sounds like, that they were fasting. So if you're just doing 12 to 14 hours or 16-hour or skipping a meal, you may not have that same problem. And remember, when you go to bed at night, so if you get your full 8 hours, so if you're getting 8 hours of sleep and you skip breakfast in the morning and you have your first meal, say 4 hours after you awake, so that's kind of gonna put you at a 12. That's gonna put your fasting window at a 12-hour window. If you have your first meal 6 hours, that'll put you at a 14. And again, if you have your meal 8 hours, that'll put you at a 16. So 8 of those hours you were sleeping. If you get your full 8 hours, which you should strive to get your full 8 hours, because if you do not sleep, or if you have erratic sleep patterns, or you don't sleep very well, that will cause you to gain weight. All right, so the next thing, stress. So, and we can't always get rid of your sources of stress, but you got to learn how to manage how you react to them. So, and by doing so, it can help to reduce your visceral fat. So there's more cortisol receptors, and cortisol is the stress hormone, in visceral fat than in subcutaneous fat. So if you're super stressed, that cortisol hormone, that receptor, cortisol is going to be in your in that fat, in your visceral fat, right? So in fact, researchers think that visceral fat may be what one study called non-optimal physiological adaptation to stress. A Yale University study showed that stress can cause excess abdominal fat, even in otherwise slender women. So one direct path to reducing visceral fat may involve something as simple as a daily meditation practice. Remember our mindful breathing? That could be something that you could do, right? So a simple daily meditation practice, which has been shown to reduce blood levels of cortisol. So you want to do something that's going to help to reduce the cortisol level to get that stress hormone down. So we talked about that mindful breathing. We talked about, and we have talked about that, meditating, and just finding a way to relax, right? And that will help you to lose weight as well. And so this one here, we talk about this all the time, because what, sugar addiction is real, right? So you want to limit the simple sugars that you eat, right? Save them for special occasions. You may crave them for energy, but it won't last long. Those cravings won't last long. But if you're already addicted to sugar, we know how that's going to go, right? Sugar addiction is real, so it's not going to just pass like that. But you and if you're addicted to sugar because your palate is not acclimated to the way that real sugar tastes, and how it's not as sweet as the high fructose corn syrup that's been in the foods that you've been consuming, even in some of the sodas, the juices, and things like that. So that you could try, and I would really recommend that you do, to eat something that has more fiber. Remember, we talked about fiber. So you want to eat something that has more fiber, possibly something with protein. You can eat nuts, hummus, veggies, or an apple, to try and get past that sugar craving that you have. And again, if you're addicted, that might not work. So that's where I would suggest something like Some Sweet to help you to get over that. Because just sometimes just going cold turkey doesn't work. So I would recommend to try something like Some Sweet to help you to get past the sugar cravings and help you to be able to manage those very well. If sugar addiction is your problem, if you crave sugar and you have to have sugar. And if an apple does not taste sweet to you, then you might want to check that. But so that is the thing that I would say as far as all of that goes. So just and so just to recap over some of the things, the reasons why you may have that visceral fat, um, and what visceral fat is. Again, visceral fat is the fat that is under, it's subcutaneous. It's not the subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous is the fat that you can pinch, that's like right there under the skin. Visceral, you can't pinch it because it's further inside. It covers your intestines. It's fat that you cannot see, and it's dangerous because it causes health issues. So, and again, like type 2 diabetes, stroke, breast cancer, colorectal cancer, Alzheimer's, so on and so forth. It causes those kinds of things. So it's really, really bad. So you want to watch what you're consuming. So you want to consume, you want to burn more calories than you consume, right? You want to get you some cardio in there, and you want to cut back on the processed foods, especially if it has trans fat. You want to watch what you're drinking, cut back on your alcohol, and you want to watch intermittent fasting. Stick to 12, 14, or 16 hours rather than trying to do 24 hours or longer fast. Or even you might just want to just go with a one meal intermittent, or something like that. So you want to watch, be mindful of how that's affecting you, and you want to cut back on your stress, right? So, and you want to eat less sugar. All right, all right, all right. Well, that's going to be it for today. I do just want to remind us all that um, you can catch the live stream. We go live Tuesdays. This year we're going Tuesdays through Friday at 6:30, and you can catch that. Catch us if you're not here on the HAPS app. You can catch us Facebook at SAIRNT, Instagram at Some Sweet Foods, YouTube at SAIRNT, Twitter at Some Sweet Foods, and also we're trying to. I'm not sure if it's working because I haven't caught the link for it every time I try, but I'm working on trying to go live on TikTok as well. So, but you can catch us there. And you can catch the rebroadcast of, which would just be the audio version on any of the um, any of the podcast streaming apps. So you can catch us, and that is Sugar Addiction is Real Nutritional Therapy, SAIRNT. Sugar Addiction is Real Nutritional Therapy. Yes. So tomorrow, we do have a guest with us tomorrow that is going to be joining us. His name is Marcus Wright, and I do believe this will be our first male guest. Yes, and Marcus is he is a holistic. Excuse me. He is a holistic a practitioner as well, a holistic therapist, and he's going to be talking with us about the things that we can do, things such as hydrotherapy, herbology, and things like that. So I'm very excited. So tune in tomorrow at 6:30 for our special guest, Marcus Wright. All right, all right. Well, that is it for today's broadcast. Again, if you want to get some sweet, you can go over to sumsweet.com and you can get a hold of the sweetener there. So glad you all joined me today. Thank you so much. And let me get back here because it cut me off yesterday, but it did pretty good today. So, so yeah, until next time, until tomorrow,